Fáilte Roverstock go dtí an chlár seo anocht tá míad an seo dig I Dromey I baróiste Kilvy Hill. Tá míad anna bhuaig de Fear agus Benetí here Noreen or Maureen agus Nicholas chur an chlár seo le chéile anocht. So welcome everyone to Dromey's Bar this evening in the parish of Kilmichael. We're here in Dromey's Bar with Nicholas and Maureen, who we're very grateful for putting this show together. So we have great talent tonight on show, and we hope you enjoy it, and on with the show. Two step dances here, and the first one here is, what's your name?
Murphy.
And Claire, what are you going to do for us tonight?
A reel.
Okay, away with you. We have another member of the Murphy family here now who's going to do another set dance for us. What's your name?
Kieran.
Kieran. And what are you going to do tonight?
Life jig.
Very good. Off with you. Okay, Kieran is also a dinger on the box, so we're going to have a few tunes from him now as well. What are you going to play for us, Kieran?
Roddy McCarley and Castle Polka.
Okay, away with you. We know of a young man here who's going to give us a recitation. What's your name?
Nicky John.
And what are you going to say for us?
The Snare and Winter Sports.
Very good.
The Snare by James Stephens. I hear a sudden cry of pain. There is a rabbit in a snare. Now I hear that cry again, but I cannot tell from where. He is calling out for aid, crying on the frightened air, making everything afraid, wrinkling up his little face as he cries again for aid, but I cannot find the place. Where his paw is in the snare. Little one, oh little one, I am searching everywhere. Winter Sports, Anonymous. Wet and muddy, soaked right through, covered with bruises, black, red and blue. Socks at ankles, laces flying. I really almost feel like crying. But wait a minute, did we win? How many goals did we get in? More or less than the opposition. I can't remember my position. Was I in goal or was I attack? I remember now. I was left back. Yes, we won by 8-2. I'm glad my first football game is true.
Okay, back to the music, and we have a young girl here from Caledonia. What's your name?
Aoife. Alright.
Very good, Aoife. And what are you going to play for us?
I love hope, I love tears.
Very good. We have next one of the Dromey's locals to give us a song all the way from the Roundy Road. It's
Kitty O'Sullivan.
And what are you going to sing for us, Kitty?
An Irish Country Home. Thank you. In an Irish country home, one evening long ago, sat an old man and his little daughter Nell. Said the girl with Irish glee, as she played on Papa's knee, "You promised me a story you would tell. Come tell me of the past, of Mother dear," she asked. "Come tell me how she used to look," she cried, Handsome Nell, the old man said, as he slowly bent his head. Tears were in his eyes, he then replied, she was sweeter than the blossoms on the clover. She was fairer than the evening sunset low. But I never will forget how much I loved her when your mother took my name long, long ago. We were married, she and I, and in every way I tried to make our home a place of happiness. Till one bright September morn, on the day that you were born, God took her to a brighter home above. She was sweeter than the blossoms on the clover. She was fairer than the evening sunset low. But I never will forget how much I loved her when your mother took my name long, long ago. In an Irish country home, one evening long ago, sat an old man and his little daughter Nell. Though the best of friends must part, she was dearer to my heart. For your mother was the only one I loved. Thank you.
Okay, next we have a man from the parish of Inchkeela, just across the bridge here. Put your hands together for Paddy Horgan. Paddy Lorden, sorry.
Last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, my mind being bent on rambling, to Ireland I did fly. I stepped on board a vision and followed with the wind, till I shortly came to anchor at the cross at Spancel Hill, it being on the 23rd of June, the day before the fair, when Ireland's sons and daughters in crowds assembled there. The young, the old, the brave and bold, their journey to fulfill. There was jovial conversations at the fair at Spancel Hill. I went to see my neighbours, to hear what they might say. The old ones were all dead and gone, the young ones turning grey. I met the tailor quickly, he's as bold as ever still. Ah, he used to make my breeches when I lived in Spancel Hill. I paid a flying visit to my first and only love. She was as white as any lily and as gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me saying, Johnny, I love you still. Ah, she's Ned, the farmer's daughter, and the flower of Spancel Hill. I dreamt I held and kissed her as in the days of yore. She said, Johnny, you're only joking, like many's the time before. The cock, he crew in the morning, he crew both loud and shrill, and I woke in California, many miles from Spancel Hill. Whilst we honour in song and in story the memory of Pierce and MacBride, whose names are a loomer in glory, and martyrs that long since have died. Forget not the boys of Killmaker, those brave lads so gallant and true, who fought 'neath the green flag of Erin and conquered the red, white and blue. On the 28th day of November, the Tans left the town of Macroom. They were seated in two crossley tenders, which led them right into their doom. They were on the road to Killmaker, and never expecting to stall. They were met by the boys of the column that made a clean sweep of them all. So here's to the boys of Killmaker, those brave and so gallant and true, who fought 'neath the green flag of Erin and conquered the red, white and blue. The sun in the west it was sinking, 'twas the eve of a cold winter's day. The Tans were all drearily waiting, sailed into the spot where we lay, and over the hills went the echo, when the sound of the steel of the gun, and the flames from our lorries gave timing that the boys at Killmaker had won. So we gathered our rifles and bayonets, and soon left the glen of Abstour. But we never drew rein till we halted at our faraway camp in Branur. So here's to the boys of Killmaker, those brave lads so gallant and true, who fought 'neath the green flag of Erin and conquered the red, white and blue.
We have a special guest here now, all the way from Killamatra. He's going to play us a few tunes. Put your hands together for Michael Horgan. Okay, we've a very talented lady now who's going to sing a song for us. She's a new arrival into Moneycusker. Eileen Harrington. What are you going to sing for us tonight, Eileen?
I'm going to sing The Old Armchair.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Can I lift it up a little? Yeah. Okay. Okay, right. My grandmother, she at the age of 83, one day she was taken ill and died. And after she was dead, the will of course was read by a lawyer as we all stood by his side. To my brother it was found she had left £100, and the same to my sister I declare. But when he came to me, the lawyer said, I see, all Granny left you was her old armchair. And how they tittered and how they chaffed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard the lawyer declare all Granny left you was her old armchair. Well, I thought it hardly fair, but I said I didn't care, and in the evening took the chair away. Well, me sister at me chaffed, me brother at me laughed, and said it will be useful, John, some day. When you settle down in life and find a girl to be your wife, you'll find it very handy, I declare. And on a cold and frosty night, with the fire burning bright, you'll be seated on the old armchair. And how they tittered, how they chaffed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard the lawyer declare all Granny left you was her old armchair. Well, what my brother said came true, and in a year or two, strange to say, I settled down in married life. I first a girl did court, and then the ring I bought took her to the church, and then she was my wife. Well, the young girl and me were as happy as could be, and there every evening I declare. I ne'er abroad with Rome, but would each night stay at home, and was seated on the old armchair. But how they tittered and how they chaffed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard the lawyer declare all Granny left you was her old armchair. One night as I sat down, the chair fell on the ground, and as the seat rolled out upon the floor, and there before my eyes I saw to my surprise a lot of notes, £10,000 or more. Well, when my brother heard of this, the fellow, I confess, went nearly mad with rage and tore his hair. But I only laughed at him and said to him, oh Jim, don't you wish you had the old armchair? And how they tittered and how they chaffed, how my brother and my sister laughed when they heard the lawyer declare all Granny left you was her old armchair. When they heard the lawyer declare all Granny left you was her old armchair.
Okay, next up we've got Denis OLeary from Killamatra, and he's going to sing for us Eileen McMahon.
Last night as I laid on my pillow, a vision appeared in my view of a ship sailing over the ocean, and the wind it tremendously blew. On the deck stood a handsome fair maiden, whose features I ne'er saw before, and she sighed for the wrongs of her country, saying, I'm banished from Erin's green shore. For the want of employment in Ireland, I was forced as an exile to roam, far away from my home in Caledonia, where in childhood I once used to roam. Far away from each mountain and valley, from Punchbowl to the Gap of Dunlow, and all around beautiful Muckross, and that beautiful spot ado. And 'twas then I woke from my slumber, as I searched for my Eileen McCree, but 'twas only the face of my mother. With her fond smile she gazed upon me. Oh, the ship on the ocean had vanished, but in fancy I see her once more. Oh, that beautiful Eileen McMahon, she's the pride of old Erin's green shore. Oh, my name, it is Eileen McMahon, and my age it is scarcely 18. And I thank you, kind sir, for your kindness, for you don't know how lonely I've been.
Time for a story now, and we're honoured to have a storyteller of great renown with us tonight. Then, Carroll, what are you going to? What's you can introduce the story now yourself, then.
Well, actually, I think I'll tell a few short, snappy ones, because a long one might be too boring, you know. And the short, snappy ones might go better. Now, there was a time, you know, when the confirmation was in progress, when the bishop would stay in the parochial house overnight, or maybe for a couple of nights. Now, it was a very auspicious occasion. Now, you would know hot water laid on in houses that time, so it was a job for the priest, boy as they would call him, to take up hot water to the bishop in the morning, do you see. So there was this boy with this priest, Jack was his name. So the parish priest was tutoring Jack what to do so that he wouldn't mess up things with taking up the water to the bishop, you see, an important occasion. Now, Jack, he said, take up the water, knock at the door, and when the bishop says, who's there, say, the boy, my lord. Well, that was all right. When the time came, your man filled his jug of hot water, and of course the poor fellow, he was shivering in his shoes in case he'd make a mistake. So as he was going up the stairs, he kept saying to himself, the boy, my lord, the boy, my lord. Knocked on the door. Who's there, says the bishop? The Lord, my boy. Now, while we're on the subject of the bishop used to examine the children that time for confirmation, a very important and sensational occasion which put the shivers down the poor young fellas' backs in case they'd fail. Now, he was examining the children this day on the Bible. Now, we all heard about the parables. Now, there was this parable of the 5 wise and the 5 foolish virgins who went to the wedding feast. Now, the 5 foolish virgins did not take spare oil for their lamps and ran into trouble when darkness came and the lamps ran out of oil, and you had no batteries in those days. So the bishop said to the children in a big booming voice, what did the 5 foolish virgins forget to do? And the still fella shouted out, they forgot to take the pill. Now, there were these 2 nuns in Macroom convent one time, and every evening they used to take a walk out along the road, a very fine evening. So this evening, it was a nice bright evening, but they went a little bit further than they meant to, so that when they were coming back, the darkness fell on them, you see. But as they were moving along, they passed two fellas, two fly-boys out from the town. And what did they do? The two fellas that were out for a bit of a lark, they grabbed the two nuns and pulled them in against the ditch, just for a harmless bit of a lark. No, there was an old nun and a young nun, but God help us, the poor old nun, she got such a fright, she got caught for words, she couldn't say anything. But eventually she lifted her eyes towards heaven and she said, "Oh, Father, oh, forgive them. They know not what they do." "Have faith be God," says the young nun, "my fellow knows for he's doing all right." No, a certain person told me tell this one, so I'll chance it anyway. There was this courting couple. You know what that's all about. I needn't tell you it all. I'll just something I wouldn't be too sure about. Which was the time that the priest used to be hunting the courting couples, so they used to have to go into all sorts of places to avoid them. So where this couple used to go was into a graveyard at night, a very quite secluded place. But there was this night the grass was a bit damp, so they said they do their courting in the perpendicular instead of in the horizontal, which was the usual way. But they went ahead anyway, with the lady's rare portion propped up firmly against the headstone. A good solid prop, you see. So they got through their business anyway, got through their agenda, and went home. No, the lassie had a bit of a cold, but the poor girl the morning after, it was 10 times worse. She was feeling terrible bad altogether, so she offered Macroom to her GP. No, the GP, he was a terrible, thoroughgoing man like this famous Dr. Barry. He made her strip off so that he could examine her all over completely, you see. So anyway, he examined her, and then he shook his head. "I'm afraid, my girl," he said, "the news is bad. You're finished, and that's all that's to it. You're just another job for Fitzy. I can't do a bit for you." "Oh, the Lord say was in this doctor," says she. "How do you figure out that I'm finished?" "Because," I say, "there's R.I.P. printed across your posterior." Well, no, there are more artists lined up, but no, just I leave you with this thought, with all these accidents and that kind of thing, the most dangerous part of a motor car is the nut that holds the wheel. God bless you all.
Okay, next up we have another man from across the bridge, from the parish of Inchigeela, Tim McSweeney, and he's going to sing 2 songs for us, and I'll let him explain the second one himself.
Dear sir, I write this not to you to tell you of me plight, and at the time of writing it, I'm not a pretty sight. Me body is all black and blue, me face a deadly grey, and I write this not to say why Paddy is not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear. Now to throw them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he being an awkward sod. He said I'd have to cut them down the ladders in me hod. Now carting all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow. So I hoisted up the barrel and secured the rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So then when I untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead, and springing tightly to the rope, I stepped it up instead. Well, I shot up like a rocket till to my dismay I found that halfway up I met the bloody barrel coming down. Now the barrel broke my shoulder as to the ground it sped, and as I reached the top I banged the pulley with me head. Well, I clung on tight on no much shock from this almighty blow, and the barrel spilled out half the bricks 14 floors below. Now when these bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel and so started down once more, and clinging tightly to that rope I sped towards the ground, and I landed on the broken bricks that were all scattered round. As I lay there moaning on the ground, I thought I'd passed the worst, but the barrel hit the pulley wheel and then the bottom burst. Well, a shower of bricks rained down on me, I hadn't got a hope. As I lay there moaning on the ground, I left go the goddamn road. The barrel then being heavier, it started down once more, and it landed straight across me as I laid upon the floor. Well, it broke 3 ribs on my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Paddy is not at work today. Now, this is a song that I wrote about 15 years ago myself. It was written about a group of ladies that frequented this premises, and they were then called the Barnegan Virgins. I had my doubts about that time, and I have no doubts about it now. So I'm going to sing the song now. It goes like this. There is a group of virgins coming to Nick Dromey's bar. They come there every Saturday night for the crack and the jar. They are the cutest bunch of dolls that you will ever see. But the only question that I pose is of their purity. There's a queen in Virgin's corner. She rules a smoky kingdom. She drinks Coca-Cola and in that corner lies her throne. All the virgins flock around her, asking her one favour, to see if they could have one Rodella when they'd go home. Now the real queen of these virgins, her name is Maureen Quill. She came from Ballyferny off the side of a hill. Nicholas is the boss man, he marches up and down. He says when he was a young man he left no virgin around. There's a queen in Virgin's corner, she rules a smoky kingdom. She drinks Coca-Cola and in the corner lies her throne. All the virgins flock around her, asking her one favour, to see if they could have one Rodella when they'd go home. Now the the dee-dee-lie-dum, hey-da-da-dee-dum-doo. Hey, take it, cut it, I'm a... They go out well clad with bloomers and long johns, and they take Charlie Reardon to entertain them with his songs. When it was coming up to their anniversary, I heard they got a letter offering them lingerie. There's a queen in Virgin's corner, she rules a smoky kingdom. She drinks Coca-Cola and in that corner lies her throne. All the virgins flock around her, asking her one favour, to see if they could have one Rodella when they go home. Now this pub is in Cool Daniel, but it borrowed a fine name. There's something telling me now that these virgins are the same. They have been on the papers and on the radio, and they took the mickey out of Crete when he opened up their show. There's a queen in Virgin's corner, she rules a smoky kingdom. She drinks Coca-Cola and in that corner lies her throne. All the virgins flock around her, asking her one favour, to see if they could have one Rodella when they go home.
Next up, we have a band that have specially formed for the night. We have Aoife and Karen, and they're going to sing Caledonia.
Changes that have come over me in these last few days. I'm afraid I might drift away. I've been telling old stories, singing songs that made me think about where I've come from. And now I'm seen so far away today. Now let me tell you that I love you and I think about you all the time. Caledonia, you're calling me. Now I'm going home. And if I shall become a stranger, now it'd make me more than sad. Caledonia's been everything I've ever had. Yeah. Well done, that was fun. Yeah. Well, it's been a long time, glad to see your face. I knew we'd meet again another time, another place. Can't believe it's been so many years. You better grab a chair and a couple of beers. Looking good in your three-piece suit. I knew you'd always take the business route. You were always the one to follow the light, and I guess I'm doing all right. Well, I'm singing for my rent, singing for my supper. I'm above the below and below the upper. Stuck in the middle where the money gets tight, and I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Got a good old friend here with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Got a good old friend here with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing all right. We had a lot of fun when we were younger, but we had the hunger. We had a lot of fun, kissed a lot of guys, got on top of the world and knocked down a wrath. But we lost touch, we lost in love, we lost our minds when things got tough. But beating time is a losing fight, and I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Got a good old friend here with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Got a good old friend here with me tonight, and I guess I'm doing all right. Well, I hate to see this evening end, God only knows when I'll see you again, but send a fax or send me a letter or give me a call, that would even be better. Give the kids a kiss from me and say hello to the family and tell them all my future's looking bright and I miss them but I'm doing all right. Tell them I'm missing but I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Got a good old friend here with me tonight and I guess I'm doing all right. I'm all right. Got a good old friend here with me tonight and I guess I'm doing all right.
Another very talented singer here with us tonight, Teresa OLeary, and she's going to sing Paddy Reilly.
Oh, the Garden of Eden has vanished, they say, but I know the lie of it still. Just turn to the left at the bridge of Finney and stop when halfway to Coot Hill. 'Tis there I will find it, I know sure enough, when fortune has come to my call. Oh, the grass, it is green around Ballyjamestuff, and the blue sky is over it all. And tones that are tender, and tones that are tough, still whispers come over the day that I first saw the light. I looked down the street on that very first morn and gave a great crow of delight. Now most newborn babies appear in a huff and start with a squabbling squall. But I knew I was born in Ballyjamestuff, and that's why I cried most of all. The baby's a man now, he's toil-torn and tough, still whispers come over the sea. Come back, Paddy Reilly, to Ballyjamestuff. Come home, Paddy Reilly, to me.
We've a very, very popular man who's going to sing next. He doesn't need an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. It's Thomas Cronin.
The sun is sinking o'er the westward. The fleet is leaving Dingle shore. I watch the men row in their corals as they mark the fishing ground at Skelligmore. All through the night men toil until the day break, while at home their wives and sweethearts kneel and pray that God will guard them and protect them and bring them safely back to Dingle Bay. I see the green isle of Valentia, I mind the cares around Loch Lynn. The guard is swinging with a gannet as they mark the silver shoal that comes their way. I also see a ship on the horizon. It is sailing to a country far away. On board are exiles feeling lonely as they bid a fond farewell to Dingle Bay. Long years have passed since I've been homeward, and time has left me old and grey. I sit and muse about my childhood and the happy hours I spent in Dingle Bay. In memory too I see the hill of Brandon, and the isle of Inishmore seems far away. I'm always dreaming of my childhood and that little spot I left in Dingle Bay. I close my eyes and picture the emerald of the scene, from the fishing boats at Dingle to the shores of Donadee. I miss the river Shannon and the folks at Skibbereen, the moorland and the meadows and the 40 shades of green. But most of all I miss a girl in Tipperary town. And most of all I miss her lips, as soft as eider down. Again I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar, and there's 40 shades of green. Again I want to spend an hour at Dublin's turning serve. I long to watch the farmers drain the bogs and spade the turf, to see again the thatching of the straw the women glean. And I'd walk from Cork to Larne to see the 40 shades of green. But most of all I miss a girl in Tipperary town. And most of all I miss her lips, as soft as eider down. Again I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar, and there's 40 shades of green. Where the breeze is sweet as Shalimar, and there's 40 shades of green.
Very good.
There's been a lot of requests for this man to sing tonight, and I think he's going to sing a special one for Maureen. It's called The Candy Store. It's Joey O'Neill.
From the candy store on the corner to the chapel on the hill, two young lovers are longing to go there, and they dream someday they will. Though their hearts are in tune with the love song, every promise they meet. For to love is the treasure of treasures when you're only 17. At 17, it's a thrill to dream someday you will walk hand in hand from the candy store to the chapel on the hill. At 17, it's a thrill to dream someday you will walk hand in hand from the candy store to the chapel on the hill. Walk hand in hand from the candy store to the chapel on the hill. Oh, please meet me tonight in the moonlight Oh, please meet me tonight all alone. I have a sad story to tell you. It's the story that's never been told. I'm off to the new jail tomorrow, leaving my poor darling alone. With these four prison walls all around me, and my head on a pillow of stone. If I had the wings of a swallow, those high prison walls I would fly. I would fly to the arms of my darling, and 'tis there I would lay down and die. I have but one ship on the ocean, all covered with silver and gold. But before I will leave my own darling, my ship must be anchored and sold. Oh, please meet me tonight in the moonlight. Oh, please meet me tonight all alone. I have a sad story to tell you. It's the story that's never been told.
Okay, we have a local youngster here who failed to get on Pop Idol, but he wants to get onto the television anyway. So put your hands together for Tygo Callahan.
Oh, the autumn leaves have fallen, and the tourists are all gone, and the children, they have all gone back to school, and my life is as it was before. I work 8 hours a day, with the company still making all the rules. But there's a girl in Massachusetts, south of Boston town, she said, and her lovely face is with me all the day. Sure, I met her down in Old Tralee, golden hair upon her head, and I took her heart, and she stole mine away. Goodbye, my Boston beauty, farewell, my Boston rose. I'll wait for you, I'll think of you, no threat to you I'll pose. Goodbye, my Boston beauty, farewell, my Boston rose. I wish that you were here, but I know that's the way life goes. What is a song we sang all summer in the bars of Dublin town? I can hear it on the factory radio, and the feelings I remember now as I hear that simple tune. Makes me wonder if it really happened so. For we laughed and loved together till the summer days were gone, and she had to go across the ocean wide. So goodbye, my Boston beauty, until we meet again, and I'll keep the fire burning deep inside. Goodbye, my Boston beauty, farewell, my Boston rose. I'll wait for you, I'll think of you, no threat to you I'll pose. Goodbye, my Boston beauty, farewell, my Boston rose. I wish that you were here, but I know that's the way life goes. And some nights when I'm drinking and my friends are gathered round, I can... Oh, Lord. I wish that you were here, so farewell, my Boston rose.